Hello, everybody. This is Felicia with The Book is Done. I wanted to come on to talk about a book that I just finished. This was probably one of the heaviest books that I have read in a while. And it's a reason why I don't read heavy books. But this book was for book club, and we meet tomorrow to talk about this book. And I really wanted to go to book club. It was the first one that I've made in a few weeks. And so I was like, I'll read the book. And I read the synopsis of it. And I was just like, okay, okay, we can do this. Listen, when I tell you I'm not well right now, I'm not well. I'm not well right now. And I don't take that lightly. Like, I'm still trying to, compose myself, literally, and, maintaining my composure. What book am I talking about? Forget You Saw Her by Noelle. I don't even want to pronounce the last name because I know I'm going to tear it up. That right there is a standalone prequel to the book As for Andrea or Andrea. I didn't read As for Andrea. From my understanding, I believe that came out last year, maybe 2 years ago. I'm not sure. I haven't read it, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I was like, okay, prequel. Anytime you read a prequel and then it's like separated, like it has no, it's connection, but it's not connection to, like, it's not a must read for the book that came out. So I was just like, okay, let me let me read this book. First and foremost, it gives you trigger warnings. So the trigger warnings, and I quote, it says in here, content advisory. This book includes descriptions of domestic abuse, death of a child, and non explicit references to sexual assault. Read with care. I want to say that was put short and sweet. Um, Definitely you need to read with care. If you have not read that book yet, you definitely need to read with care. If sexual assault is a trigger for you, if anything being done to a child, period, is a trigger for you, read with care. Um, for me, children, children in the gerontology population are my hearts, are my weaknesses. I will go to bat for any of them if they are being mistreated or whatever the case may be. Which is why I did not choose for my profession to be a social worker. I don't care what the story is. Nobody deserves to hurt children and or those within the older population, and just people who can't help themselves. Those who have unique disabilities or different qualities than what the main population has, or experience. There should be no mistreatment, and I have like zero tolerance. So in all things, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to come down. I did not have a Diet Dr. Pepper. I couldn't find it. So I got a Diet Mountain Dew. When I'm done with this, I'm literally going to go and chug the rest of that bottle. I bought it this morning and I was sipping and sipping and sipping the Diet Dr. Pepper, Diet Mountain Dew, just to try and get my nerves, because I wanted to be done today so that whatever level I was at, I will be calm before book club tomorrow. So I was going to finish it tonight. And so this book begins with this woman named Sabina. And it says, even on the back of the book, it says that um, 17 years ago, Sabina, who was 16 years old at the time, had a baby. And she had given her daughter, Andrea. I'm going to call her Andrea. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I just, Andrea. Excuse me. Sabina had given up her daughter, Andrea, for adoption. She wanted to keep the baby. She didn't know how she was going to do it, but she really really wanted to. And her mom, she was in a two-parent household, and while her mom wanted to help her, support her, comfort her, be there for her, just support her, her dad, Sabina's dad, was just like, nope. She made a bed, she got to lay in it. Tough love, right? I get that, but everybody's situation is different. But um, long story short, while Sabina's mom was away, dad had slid a note to her because she was in the basement. They had her, I'm pretty sure it was the dad. They had Sabina and the baby. It was a finished basement, I'm assuming. I'm praying so. But had them in the basement like they were ashamed of her. And I was already at like a 7 when I read that. But he slid her a note and was just like, you're only 16, you're a kid yourself. You need to think about doing what's best for your daughter, Andrea, and putting her into a two-parent household. Fine, whatever. So, to me, Sabina felt pressured to give her daughter up for adoption, and so she did. And it was a closed adoption, so it wasn't like she was able to, you know, make tabs on her, see how she's doing, see how she's growing, be a part of her life. Nothing. The records were sealed. Everything was sealed. Once she relinquished her parental rights, that was it. Last time she saw her daughter, right? And so, fast forward, the book's legit starts out in saying, like, it's a letter that Sabina had received from a detective in Oregon. No, in Utah. Sabina lived in Utah. In Oregon. Present day Sabina lived in Oregon before or during receiving this letter from the detective. And the detective was Detective Monty Barker, from Utah Police Department, saying that they recently recovered the body of a 17-year-old girl, and wanted her to complete a DNA test. And so that's how the book starts out. So I'm just like, goodness gracious, this is gonna be heavy already. So, with with the with the beginning of it, she was waiting, and this is like, the first page is the letter, and then the second page is the first chapter that says that Sabina and her husband Joel were, and Joel is not the father of Andrea. It was a high school junior or senior. It was a high school senior, that he signed over his rights immediately. And so, uh, her nerves were on edge. Come to find out, her DNA was not a match. So she was like, I need to go find my daughter. She hops in the car, drives from Oregon. I think it's like 13 hours. Drives from Oregon to Utah. Has no idea what to do, where to go, who to talk to, none of that. She's going to Ogden. Is Odgen. So if you pronounce that, that's what it is. Utah, to go and try to find her daughter, because she was like missing. What's going on? She hasn't seen her baby since she gave her up for adoption. None of that. So the book talks about this journey that she goes on to, that Sabina goes on to. She finds out early on who her adoptive parents were, Bunny and Dennis. No judgment, but for me, my sentiments were the same as Sabina's. Sabina didn't feel too well about that. Again, no judgment again about the name, but when she had found that information, and Facebook is the first place that folks go to see if they can look up profiles, things of that nature. So the information that she came across on Facebook was some shady boot stuff. So when she got the contact information, she contacted Bunny, which was the adoptive mom, she could care less. She sounded like she was asleep. She was just like, okay, why are you contacting me? Dennis, her husband, ain't gonna be too happy about this. But she was like, yeah, I'll meet you, whatever. Like she didn't care. So maybe she was asleep. Maybe she had a long night. I don't know. So she Sabina meets with Bunny. Bunny is already like hesitant. Just she's very standoffish, and she was just like the little tramp. She ran away. She took $200 of my money and just ran off. I don't know where she at. I don't care where she at. So they had Dennis and Bunny had Andrea, her bedroom, in the laundry room. Like, this is the washing machine, her bed right here. Like, she literally could have reached over to press start on the washing machine. You know what I mean? So Sabina was like, you put her in a laundry room. Like, who does that? And so all of that's going on. So Dennis, I forgot the profession that Bunny had. She did work. She worked long hours. She was gone like 12, 13 hours. Dennis was a construction site manager, I believe, but he was in construction. So he was gone. He may have some in town uh uh work opportunities and then off site or out of town opportunities. So he worked. He drank. He was an alcoholic. And so they didn't put that in there, but he drank and he was abusive. So um he came and she was like, he's not gonna be happy that I invited you here. This Bunny, she talking to Sabina. He's not gonna be happy that I invited you here without him being here. And she wasn't trying to shoot her out or nothing like that. She was just like, oh goodness, here we go. So Dennis was like, I think you best be leaving now. That's what he said. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So um goes to it's multiple point of views in this book. It starts with Sabina, then it goes to Andrea, and Andrea says, and this is early on in the book. Andrea already feels she knows she's overheard from various conversations that she's adopted. So but and it's not that Bunny and Dennis were talking to her. They didn't even love her. They didn't want her. She was just so many emotions, y'all. So she knew it was her 17th birthday, and it was a cake at home that was waiting for her. So she saw that before she went to school. So I don't want to say that she said that she was a loner, but she really didn't. She wasn't close to people. She really didn't have friends like that. It was one person named Paloma, that she felt like she should have invited to the house, but didn't because she was embarrassed. She's a teenager, so it's like by the time she gets home, of course she's wearing a hoodie and she's sweating. She stank. You know what I mean? So she's embarrassed, and so I get it. So, and she wasn't proud of her situation per se. Like, not the best parents. It just wasn't great. So she did not invite Paloma home. So, or to her house to enjoy the cake. And so Andrea goes home. She sees the cake. I think Paloma had given her or gifted her transparent butterfly earrings that she made. And so she was upstairs. She is trying to, just wind down from the day. She hears Dennis downstairs. He got home early. Apparently he's drunk or whatever the case may be. Dennis had been abusing um, Andrea. He had been hitting her in the stomach with a leash, like with a dog leash. And why a dog leash, I don't know. But at the same point in time, years before, they had a puppy, they had a dog. And I don't know if the dog died or if he killed the dog. But he, I think it was a memory where Andrea said she was like 4 or 5, 3, 4, or 5. She was very young. And the puppy was scared of Dennis. And Dennis had came into the room, and the puppy was so scared that the puppy had an accident. Baby peed. So he was getting ready to start disciplining or like hitting the puppy. And Andrea was like, stop it, stop it. And he was like, do you want to bear the brunt of this? And she whispered, no. But then, like, after a few seconds of the puppy whimpering, she was like, okay, 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 hit me. Just hit me. So I don't know why he chose her stomach, but he just kept continuously hitting her on the stomach. She had all of these, yellow bruises, and it was just horrible. This is a child. And so fast forward to that day, um, and I forgot what I think what it was that Andrea was so upset at what was going on. She already knew that Dennis was in a drunken state. She didn't want to be around, so she was trying to get away. She couldn't get away. She fell. She hit her head on the corner of the steps. She hit it really, really hard where she was starting to black out. Long story short, Dennis killed her. He took the dog leash and wrapped it around her throat. And he was like, the more you fuss, the more it's going to, the worse it's going to be. And then Andrea starts speaking like, I see this girl laying here, but that girl looks an awful lot like me. She comes to the realization that Dennis killed her. And so this is her ghost that's talking, which becomes one of the point of views in the book. And so and it goes throughout the story, but it says it early on that he killed her. She says that in the same chapter. She was like, this guy killed me. And it goes into details of what he did. Bunny didn't even know that he killed her. All throughout the book, he told her that she ran away. She came home. She found $200 worth missing from her purse or from whatever personal belongings she had. And so Dennis took the money, planted the money on Andrea, and he disposed of the body. We're just going to say that. And so that goes into the second point of view with Andrea. So for a while, it goes back and forth between Andrea and Sabina. Still present day. Well, it goes back to present day. Sabina, I don't want to say Sabina because Andrea was killed 3 months before Sabina got there. So 3 months after Sabina gets there, she finds out about this missing person 2 weeks before she actually goes to Utah. So she's in Utah. She goes to the place. She knows that something's wrong. And while she's leaving, she sees one of the butterfly earrings up under the couch. So while she's tying her shoes, she swipes the butterfly and walks out. And Andrea is trying to talk to Sabina, but she can't hear her. But Andrea builds up enough energy or whatever the case may be as to where it makes dogs bark, it makes just unique things happen. And so she's trying to get into contact and just make contact with Sabina. So it goes back and forth between the book. And still early on, I'm still like maybe in a third of the book. Andrea is like, before Sabina leaves Dennis and Bunny's house, she asks, like, before I go, were there any friends? Were there anyone, was there anyone that she was close to in school, teachers, friends, whatever? They were just like, I don't know. It was some kind of hippies smoothie joint. So she looked it up. Come to find out, it's Paloma and I think Nadia. Nadia is her mom. Paloma is her daughter. They own the smoothie shop. So Sabina goes to the smoothie shop. She lets her know, hey, my name is Sabina. I'm Andrea's biological mom. Nadia shuts the shop down. She's like, oh my goodness, you look just like her. So they start talking. They hit it off. Paloma comes in, and Paloma is still kind of caught off guard. But Paloma looks in Sabina's car, front seat of the car, and she was like, where did you get that? And she's talking about the butterfly earring. So Paloma then tells Sabina, I gave Andrea the butterfly earring. You need to find the other one. And her mom was like, are you sure? She said, yeah, I made them by hand. My initials are on the butterfly wings. Just go look. They were like, we need to call the police. We need to submit this as evidence. Because the police questioned Dennis and Bunny, they were just like, oh, Andrea ran away. She's a bad kid. It's no telling what she was doing. So it goes on throughout the book, and come across another character named Isabel. And what was going on throughout the book was that Isabel, no, Dennis and Bunny, and then Paloma and Nadia, like they were part of the Mormon church and the Mormon faith. And so I'm not too familiar with it, but it does give you like glimpses into what they believe, what they do, like the wards and things of that nature. So Dennis, in a sense, had been, I don't want to say promoted, but he had been elevated or voted into by the church, by the ward, to, in a sense, become a pastor, but more so like a counselor who interviewed young girls or young ladies, like 16, 17-year olds, to ensure that they're still pure, right? So, this came to be, and then in comes a person by the name of Sabina. Nadia was talking with Nadia was talking with Sabina, and Sabina was like, "Oh, well, you haven't heard the story about what happened to Isabel." And so it goes on to talk about what was going on with Isabel. Isabel had her interview with Dennis. He tried to do some shady boo stuff with her. She ran out to church. Dennis calls the parents. The parents believe him over the daughter because the daughter was like, he tried to do something to me. I didn't feel comfortable. They were just like, you shamed us. You bring shame to this family. So she was just like, I don't want to be a part of the church. Y'all, like, God wouldn't let this happen. Why would you believe him over your own daughter? That type thing. So that falling out came to be. They split. They went their separate ways. Isabel left. Because by this time, she was just like, I'm not going to church. I don't believe anything that he say. So she leaves at 19. So that goes on throughout the story. So I'm not going to give the whole book away. I've already spent 20 minutes on this. I'm so sorry. But um, very, very detailed. I don't want to say detailed, but it ultimately being, it ultimately was a total, it was three, it was three point of views. It was Sabina, it was Andrea, and it was Isabel. I do not believe that there was another person. It was just between those three, and it was enough going on with that. And like I said, I don't want to give too much of the book away, but however, it definitely pulls at your heartstrings. Um, and not to say that who am I kidding? I am a bag of water. I will cry within a book. This book right here pulls you in so much emotionally where you feel like you're in the book. Like there were some parts that were going on and I was literally holding my breath. I was like, "Oh my God, please, please, please let them be okay. Please let them be okay. Please let them be okay." And I mean, I'm in tears. I haven't cried yet. I'm ready. I'm definitely gonna have to read something to kind of offset this because when I tell you I'm not well. Someone had asked me if I was. Someone told me I needed to read As for Andrea, and I don't think I can handle. I need something entirely different. I can't. They said it's not as bad as like mentally and emotional wise as Forget You Saw Her. I don't want to take that chance right now. Like my nerves are so bad. Don't get me wrong, it's a really good book, but like I said, my heartstrings are snagged when it comes to children and the older population. Like for real, I can't handle it. So, um, really, really good book. Really, really good book. It will not be the last that I read of Noelle's. Um, in a sense, like how I am with children and the older population, that's the reason why I don't read some of these books that are out now. Like there's one called Saving Noah. I want to say it's by Lucinda Berry. I don't know. Saving Noah. That seems to be a big one. The Child Called It. I can't do any books dealing with children. Period. Period. I can't. Like, I'm ready to fight everybody and everything to make sure that baby is safe. Like, I can't. Especially the real stories. I can't. I can't handle it. So, in all things, that is a book that I did read for tonight. Something that I'm probably going to start reading is Jones 1993 by Devin, I think, Cabrera. I always mess up his name. But he wrote Jones 1963. And then he just finished, I just saw this like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, where he just finished Jones 2023. So I'm thinking that Jones 2023, because Jones 1993 is a sequel to Jones 1963. So I'm thinking that Jones 2023 is the third one in the series. In all things, I already know I'm in for a good read. And then there is another book that's called Miss Mary Mack by DeAndre. Starts with a K. I forgot what it is, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I'm going to start one of those books. I already received a book called Stay Silent by Ihli Webb. I cannot wait to read that. Even though it'll be like, in a sense, kind of along the first of me reading zombie apocalyptic type books, because I don't read those types of books, but I've read of her work, so I know it's going to be good. And then I received Tell Me the Truth by Kirsten Modglin. You can't go wrong with K Mod. Like, K Mod gathers all of you together. You understand? Grabs you together. And so, in all things, I'm definitely going to try and read something light. Um, so, I'm going to have to find something. Maybe finish an arc that I'm reading, Hatcher by R.A. Clark with the E at the end. I'm almost done with that. Um, I'm a beta reader for 2 books, and so maybe that, I don't know. Maybe I just need a break. I don't know. I'm still gonna read because I gotta get my mind off of this. But in all things, if you have not read What She Forgot by Noelle, please, please, please check it out. Amazing author. Um, Amazing book. Would I read it again? No. But at the same point in time, it definitely gave me motivation to read another of her work. Just not as it pertains to children. So, I hope that y'all have a good evening. Let me know what you're reading. I look forward to it. Wherever you are, please continue to be safe. I am in the States where we are getting ready to receive part of this winter storm. I think they called it Burn, where we're going to receive maybe about an inch of ice accumulated total between tomorrow and Monday. So I'm not going anywhere, but I will be reading. Believe that. So I hope that y'all have a good evening. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Y'all have a good evening. This is Felicia with The Book Is Done, and I'm out.